So here we are, wrapping up day 2 from the Cannes Lions. Mark and I are still in Cannes, in the harbor of Cannes, with an exciting day of seminars, packed with seminars actually, but also some interesting interviews with Getty and with George from ISFA. What did you think, Marco, today?
I thought it was really good. I thought the whole day was really quite interesting. Full. We always find that it's a little bit more work involved than you think at first. So we woke up at 8 this morning, which is quite exceptional for Cannes standards, just to get things going. Started with the Getty Images interview that you've seen earlier, 2 Getty Images interviews actually. We then went for lunch with Adformatie, which is a Dutch magazine. A bit of a networking thing, happens a lot. We're on the beach talking to lots of creative people invited by the magazine, who's very active here at Cannes for many years already. And then we interviewed just George Hodek earlier, just now actually. And I hope you'll find that that's given some good and interesting insights as well into why he's here and what he feels that can do for the content industry really. So yeah, all in all I thought it was a positive day. We really just wanted to go over the YouTube seminar with you just to close off the day here. The seminars are not available to everybody, so they're not online yet. They're not on YouTube. So the only thing we can really do is talk you through it. We watched it. We thought there were some really good snippets of information there. Let me just kind of give you a brief introduction of who were there, and then we'll talk through it. So I'm going to have to look at my pad here just to remind myself a little bit, a lot of information there. So we had an introduction of Lucas Watson, VP of Global Sales and Industry Marketing of YouTube, and then a forum led by Tom Esslinger, Digital Creative Director of Saatchi. And he introduced a panel of 3 people: Mark Spijker, the Chief Marketing Officer of L'Oreal, Damien Kulash, singer of OK Go, well known for YouTube videos, and then Matt Alec of Vice, a magazine that's grown into a multi-platform phenomenon almost, talking about the power of video and the power of communities in video. Lots of notes we took, both of us. I mean, Erwin, one thing in particular that got your attention?
Yeah, I thought the L'Oreal one was quite interesting, even though it was a very corporate kind of story. But the idea that L'Oreal as a brand started their own channel on YouTube, which featured not only L'Oreal, but their Destination Beauty also features other brands. So even with that, they just try to get attraction and add also value to their kind of clients. It's not just selling a product anymore. It's like brands are becoming kind of a media destination, and they try to kind of set up a new kind of relationship with their clients and offer them some entertainment values before selling them something instead of the old-fashioned 30-minute commercial.
Yeah, and I think the biggest challenge that they mentioned still is kind of taking all those various channels for all the various, all the different products, and getting all those communities together. I think in the end he mentioned that was the remaining big challenge for them. And I mean, similar to that, and Matt Alec of Vice, a magazine that's grown into multi-platform phenomenon about youth culture. Really interesting. He mentioned things like, which actually is a returning pattern of the whole conference, that it's all about real value. It's not about just kind of pushing things through. He mentioned that focus groups not really working. You need to have an agnostic, open approach to things and try new things. Needs to be authentic, love it, hate it, but have an opinion. The moment you don't have an opinion, or it's just kind of whatever, it's a bad thing. And the final thing that I picked up from him was be open to the idea of making something really bad. Only then you stand a chance of making something really good. So that was really interesting. Of those 2 speakers, Erwin, anything else you caught up with, and what did you think of Damien of OK Go?
I mean, Damien is of course a very character and a bit of the rebel of the industry, so making now their own kind of branded content, but coming from a totally different angle. And what was interesting about them is that they came to this industry with just want to create something. They didn't want to necessarily sell something. They had an idea and they made something, realizing that the music industry isn't what it used to be, and have to find alternative ways of of selling something, but just by the joy of creating something. And with that, again, come back to the same thing: any kind of value to people. They make an entertaining video which people like watching.
Yeah. Now that's what struck me as well. You know, very very authentic, very real, and very now, for lack of a better word. Not industry led. A couple of things I picked up from him. A couple of really great quotes, I thought. First of all, they were not trying to change the music industry, which was a question to him. They were just in there to make cool shit, as he said it. He also pointed out that they knew they were onto something when the YouTube video, and we'll give a link to that, got more hits than the records they actually sold. He also just mentioned everything about being flexible. Don't put months in planning and then one day to shoot. He mentioned shooting a video or creating content as a process where you adapt during the process of actually creating the content rather than planning it and then doing it, trying to do it all perfectly in one day. I thought that was really interesting. A couple of other things he said, all about robust fan base, long-term relationship, keep people coming back, and make entertainment people want to watch, and make sure people do come back for that. When asked about the typical audience and the typical audience for YouTube, he kind of said nobody in the room here. He profiled it as the typical 14-year-old that has nothing to lose. 14-year-old that puts all kind of content on YouTube. Lots of it fails, lots of it may be embarrassing, and there may be one hit, but they have nothing to lose at that age. There's no planning involved, they just go for it, they do something they find cool, whether somebody else agrees with that or not, and at some point somebody might think it's cool as well. I thought that was really strong. Ignore technologies and cultural boundaries. And that's kind of it from him. I thought really his speech was interesting because it came from a practical example. They didn't ask for it. They just started building something, and it became popular. There's not a lot of corporate speak in that speech. So all in all, I thought, you know, from a content perspective and from us selling and generating content from an industry that's doing that, the need to be authentic, the need to not try too hard, the need to kind of go with the flow and improvise and not plan too much and expect for the best results were the biggest takeaways from me. Would you agree with that, Erwin?
Absolutely, and as one of the quotes is nice to finish, they have no brands but friends. It's
Yeah.
it's not the brands that make it, but it's the friends that make the brand in a way.
Cool. Well, we'll close up with that for day one. No brands but friends. And we'll see you tomorrow at the Can Diary. It's the opening gala and we're about to go in.